Here we go then, time for 5 red lights here in Austria. Lights out and away we go. A good start from Verstappen, another good one from West as well, but Norris in behind, looking maybe towards turn 1. West looking to the outside, trying to hold it but not quite enough. Verstappen just about squeezes him out, but Verstappen now has the lead. If West went wide there, and now Piastri looking and not looking in the background. Norris also on the back of the gearbox of the Ferrari, not making a move here. Albon and Hamilton also making a move, and West almost went into the back of Verstappen, almost. And he will have the traction to go back down the straight. What an exit he got. And now, side by side, all the way down towards turn 5. And now, last the late breakers. Who's it going to be? It's just about almost 2 even between the two of them. But now, Verstappen's going to have the run all the way up the hill. And now to the left-hander. And they're still side by side. I think West gone a bit deep, he has. And now Norris may have the door open for him. But it's too close between the top 2 in the championship already here in Austria. And what a start that was from Max Verstappen. An excellent getaway to try and keep West at bay. And, well, he's gone a bit deep again. West is not enjoying this car so far in this first lap. He's really, really attacking, being very aggressive. And now Verstappen is being pulled all the way up to the pit wall. And now West is going to try maybe down the inside. Is it going to be enough? Not quite a B. It is this time. He does get it done. And now West will have DRS all the way down the straight towards turn 3. This could be a big moment in the championship. These first early few laps here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Norris is also going to dive down the inside and maybe have a good look at Verstappen. All 3 of them. West goes a bit deep on the last of the late breakers once again. But now Verstappen under pressure again towards turn 5. We've seen this story already before a lap ago. West last on the brakes. Not quite to be, I don't think this time. Verstappen holds it. But Verstappen, finally, we can take a breather as Max Verstappen takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Our championship leader for most of the season, now up and running. And now less under pressure and trying to build a gap ahead of his championship rival. And West going wide again in the background. Well, will that open the door up to Norris? Well, you've seen the opening couple of laps then. Here's your top 10. Verstappen, West, Norris, Hamilton, Albon, Alonso, Piastri and Antonelli. Ocon and Hulkenberg round off the top 10. Russell down in 12th. Sainz in 15th. For more notes, Sonoda down in 17th too. West to the inside. Down towards turn number 3. Is it going to be tight? It is going to be very tight between the two of them. Verstappen once again has to yield. But now it'll be his turn to have a go down towards turn 5. This could be a big move, and he does get the move done. Sorry, Verstappen just breezes right the way through. West last the late breakers, trying to push and slap Verstappen in the face. Pete Norris takes advantage and gets up to second, but I don't think it'll be for long. Look at Verstappen, he's already trying to get back at Norris. But swooping through the Styrian Hills, West takes the lead. Norris into second now. Hamilton down in 4th. And well, it's not quite enough for West, and now Norris also having a look down the inside, and Verstappen's going to take advantage potentially of that, and he will, right around the outside of the last corner. Max Verstappen, well, he's not a 4-time world champion for nothing, is he? And well, in the background you can see Oscar Piastri maybe diving down the inside of Fernando Alonso. Not quite enough for the Australian. And now yet again, West I think is out of battery. Verstappen is going to be putting the pressure on and piling on the pressure. Looking to the outside, Verstappen pushed all the way by West, and West will get a good exit again. Is it to be for Max Verstappen here today? And well, last late breakers again. Verstappen's going to try and get the underlap, and what a brilliant move that might be. It's going to be a fantastic move. Verstappen holding the racing line. West still diving down the inside. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it's going to be. The two side by side in the championship. And neck and neck here in Austria. What a brilliant racing moment this is for the entire season. Might have been a flashpoint. West looking now, and I think, oh no! It's all gone wrong. And I think West is out. Is he out? Can't tell. But I think he's going to keep it going. Oh, he does. And that's going to be a big moment in the championship between the two. West and Verstappen, I think, coming to blows. We couldn't quite tell, but it looked like he just got pushed onto the grass and lost control. But Max Verstappen leads the Austrian Grand Prix. His main rival in the championship fight is down in 22nd. And well, a new nose for West and that Ferrari. And hard tyres for the rookie Brit. Is there more damage on that car that we don't know about? This is the million-dollar question. As the pit lane he comes, and it will be 22nd, but we don't know the gap to Liam Lawson. How far is he off the back of the field? 29 seconds. That is... well, Verstappen's only just coming through the last corner, or last section of corners now. So this is going to be a bit of a long race now for West. He's got an extra stop to make, of course. Those hard tyres will not last at all. So, now it remains to be seen, will Verstappen try and get in front and a bit further in front on Lando Norris, who's right in behind. Of course, Norris won in Canada in the previous race, and Verstappen and Norris and West were battling all race long. Norris now looking to make towards the inside on turn 3. Is it going to be quite enough? Not quite this time. Norris does get squeezed down by Verstappen, and well, they have another go all the way down towards turn 4. It's not going to be quite close enough again for Lando Norris. A real shame for him and Oscar Piastri so far this season. They've not really had the best car in comparison to Red Bull and Ferrari. They've won races in the past 5, but it wasn't a good start to the season at all. Of course, Norris with 3 no finishes so far this season. He could be right up there in the championship if he really wanted to be, and I'm sure he will claw it back. And well, Alex Albon is currently in P3, so Williams fans, if you're off for another podium, this might be your day. Looking behind though, Alonso under pressure from George Russell around the outside. Brilliant move from George Russell. Oh, sorry, Antonelli, sorry. What a brilliant move that is from the rookie. And now the youngest driver on the grid will go head-to-head with the oldest driver on the grid. Antonelli trying to hold on against Fernando Alonso, the 2-time world champion. Down the inside we go in towards turn 4. Is it going to be quite enough for them? Side by side still, down through the DRS zone. Alonso will have DRS once again. Pulls to the left-hand side, moves, and look at Piastri. He's also having a go. He might get them both here. 2 for the price of 1. Piastri down the inside on Antonelli, and he's still going to have the position maybe up the hill. Piastri really fighting this one. Maybe looking round the outside on Kimi Antonelli. Is it going to be quite enough? I think the two of them are... this is brilliant racing between the two of them. Piastri gets the car ahead and gets the move done. What a brilliant move from Oscar Piastri. Antonelli's going to try and fight this back going into the final section of corners. But Piastri, brilliant move from the Australian. But well done, Kimi Antonelli, holding that out. What a brilliant bit of racing that was. And now Norris up the front is 4 tenths behind Verstappen with DRS open. Is this going to be the time that Lando Norris makes his move? Down the inside we go. We've seen these two last year at this exact same corner. Norris quite keep it in front, but it's not quite to be again for the McLaren. And well, Piastri back down to 7th after that. Brilliant move in the start. But anyways, plenty more laps to do here in Austria. 28 to be exact. And well, what a brilliant race this is between the front two. We had West and Verstappen. And well, he's taken out quite a chunk, West. He's taken about 10 seconds out of the Alpine of Pierre Gasly. As he goes through turn 3, Max Verstappen goes through the final section of corners. To start lap number 9 of the Grand Prix, and he has started to pull out now to Lando Norris. Maybe those tyres have been burnt out a bit in the early section. Verstappen's just trying to break the DRS to Norris, but it's not quite to be this time. He does keep it. So if you're Ferrari then, do you try and go to the end on these tyres? Or do you just burn them all the way up and see how far you can get with them before you have to make another stop. Well, Norris will have his home Grand Prix next time out. This, the British Grand Prix. We're bringing that 100% race to you here on Westie TV. Live from Silverstone, of course, the home of British motor racing and the home venue at the British Grand Prix every single year. And well, that will be coming to you very, very shortly here on Westie TV. Couple of days' time. Well, will Lando Norris try and keep catch on Max Verstappen? Albon and Hamilton behind and within 5 tenths of each other now. And Hamilton will maybe have a look maybe towards turn number 1 on the racetrack. No, but he set himself quite nicely up for the run down towards turn 3. This could be a very, very nice move for Lewis Hamilton. Round the outside we go. And the last of the late breakers, Hamilton up to P3 and in the podium places for the first time this season. Oh, second time this season, sorry. He's really had Hamilton's had some interesting luck so far, I think, this season. He's not had a win. He's still hunting for his first win in the Ferrari. What a setting it would be to do that next time out at Silverstone. But Hamilton now trying to make a move up through the field and trying to catch onto the back of Lando Norris. Maybe he can catch on the McLaren, his fellow Brits. But Lewis Hamilton, he didn't finish in Canada, of course. He was unlucky due to an engine failure. He was probably going to be part of that big battle towards the end that we had between Verstappen, Norris and West as well. A huge shame for the 7-time world champion. Still not too late to count out the 8th. He is quite far behind in the championship. He's 62 points now behind. So, can you catch 62 points in the remaining 12, 13 races? I think you can. It's possible. The Norris clawed back the gap last year against Verstappen, but well, West now 6 seconds, now behind Liam Lawson in 21st place. He has been working his way up through the field, and you can now see them in the distance. But he's really catching. That Ferrari is quick, and he's really wrestling that car through. But it's come a bit more processional now, but Ocon and Hulkenberg are close to each other in 9th and 10th. And so Joshua Pearce and Hadjar Sainz as well. And I think this might be a pit stop. It is for Alex Albon. Alex Albon pits early to get rid of those medium tyres. And what's going on for Williams? Set of hard tyres. So, might that be the moment that Williams try and undercut? And looking in the background, you can see Tsunoda and Sonny Hayes in the background too. And contact between the two of them. Tsunoda trying to barge his way through. But Albon will come out ahead of this group and ahead of this pack. But Hayes looking down the outside of Yuki Tsunoda. It's a shock to see Yuki Tsunoda here, to be honest. Down in 17th, but well, a bit of magic does never hurt from Sonny Hayes. Brilliant overtake from the American. And now, look who's starting to make their way through. It's a Ferrari, a Scarlet Ferrari of West. Down the outside we go, past Jack Doohan. And Jack Doohan has not finished higher than 4th since Japan, I believe. China, sorry. Well, let's have a look up through the field then. Pearce now on the back of Esteban Ocon. The other Apex GP car has been doing okay so far this season. The Apex GP is 14th and 16th in the championship. 14 points for Joshua Pearce, and Sonny Hayes had 9. But it really is a marvellous, marvellous bit of work that the Apex GP team are doing. They have considered to be one of the best cars on the grid in the midfield pack. And while down the inside goes go Doohan and Lawson. Close between the two of them, but I think it will be enough. West now up to 13th, so what a difference a lap makes, and he's now right on the back of Alex Albon. Even with a pit stop. So that's the difference then. Of course, West did have to change the front wing. That's the key part of this we need to remember. It's only natural he would fall behind Alexander Albon. So then, George Russell and Antonelli, and I think Piastri's now into the pits. He is, and it's another set of medium tyres from the McLaren pit crew. George Russell and Antonelli stay out. Pierce and Ocon, and I think that's Ocon and Sainz are in the box now too. That will be the case for these two. Mediums off and softs on for Carlos Sainz. An interesting strategy choice. Esteban Ocon, I think, as well, has gone on to, looks like, quite tell from this angle. Over the mediums for Esteban Ocon, and now Tsunoda as well. He's down the order quite badly and running in 22nd place on his own. The lap here is so short that you can't really. You will see each other as you're going down the hills as well. It's a very, very close affair. If you now, it's a tight-knit track. It is short. It's the shortest on the calendar after Monaco, and the shortest lap and the fastest lap too. Hence why we might get this race done pretty quickly today. So, we're having to shoot off after this. I do not blame you. Done in record time, depending on if we get a safety car or not. And well, Hadjar comes into the pits. Well, we haven't really seen much from Isaac Hadjar. He hasn't picked up a point yet. He's one of two drivers to not pick up a point yet in this year's this year's championship. Isaac Hadjar is one of them alongside Gabriel Bortoleto. And well, Bortoleto currently running 10th, but I think that will change when the pit stops come about. He's not had a bad rookie season though, Gabriel Bortoleto. He's been consistently in the midfield pack, trying to challenge for points. Well, Nico Hulkenberg has also got the 1 point from China. Brilliant qualifying, and then his brilliant result then in the championship too. Well, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Pierce now under pressure from West, and this is going to be potentially a 3-0 battle for 6th, unless Joshua Pierce decides to throw in the towel and go into the pits. He doesn't this time. Well, West going in the background a bit wide. He has got a track limits warning, West. He has been given one. And now West will try, maybe on the back of Oscar Piastri. Looking towards the outside, West will position the car perfectly. He might want all of them. That's greedy. Oh, no, that's greedy. Surely. He wants Joshua Pierce as well, and maybe Alex Albon. He might have all 3 cars in the space of a sector. He does. Or does he? Albon, oh. West has all 3 cars in the space of a sector. That is just greedy. And well, his next target, George Russell on the hard tyres. That's only 2. Both have not pitted yet, so they could double stack. Mercedes is very famous for doing double stacks in their time in Formula 1. The process of putting both cars on the same lap and having both sets of tyres ready. And well, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, 2.7 seconds the gap. Now up the front, and well, Hamilton 10 seconds behind. Antonelli 8 off him too, so Verstappen and Norris kind of have sealed the top 2, maybe you might say today. They still have one more stop to make, of course, with these 2 cars. Well, Lando Norris is really, really hunting championship points. He really needs them in his fight for the world title. He is still in the fight, 120 points. He's 49 off the top, and well, 2 wins and keeping it out of trouble this season would surely help him in his hopes of reaching the top step of the podium at the end of the year. Well, you can see in the background there is Hamilton. That's kind of what you'd see if you're looking for your title, if you're looking for your rivals in the race. And now Russell and West are battling once again. 4 Brits in the top 6. I'm telling Verstappen the only outliers. And well, West, that's a very speculative dive, and he's done that brilliantly. Down the inside on George Russell. We didn't quite expect that from so far back. And I think George Russell might be on the radio complaining he might have been squeezed. But Albon now looking right on the back of George Russell. It might get worse for him. Those who are on the hard tyres then. Are now maybe beginning to struggle a little bit. Verstappen and Norris now still not pitting. They've not boxed at all yet. This is very interesting strategies between Red Bull and McLaren. It's going to be who blinks first, really, isn't it? I think they will pit at the end of this lap because he's coming to that tyre crossover point. Now Albon did get past George Russell. Hülkenberg now up to Piastri and Russell down side by side. And well, Oscar Piastri, look at the 2 banging wheels, but it's not quite enough. Piastri down the inside and through up to P7. May it be time to throw off these hard tyres now. It has got to the point where they have got a bit far in this race, and now it might be time for it all to be over. Well, we're looking forward and look ahead at the West is in 2 seconds ahead. Is Antonelli. Moving down the order, so Hülkenberg, we were talking about him a moment ago, weren't we? 1.3 seconds behind Sainz and in the points at the moment. Is he one of those hard tyre runners, though, that we have been... Yes, I think he might be one of those hard tyre runners. Sonoda and Bortoletto down in 16th and 17th as well. Lawson and Hadjar, quite a big gap between them, but there's quite a large gaggle of cars now behind. Esteban Ocon. It's quite a large group of them, if you like, but well, Verstappen and Norris, they've surely got to come in on this lap. These hard tyres must be shot. But West down the inside on Antonelli too, and he will go a bit deep, so we have to give the position back to Antonelli. Or does he? I don't think he does. Right, well, moving on. Norris and Verstappen then up the front, and well, Verstappen looks like he's coming into the pits. Is it time then for a Red Bull pit stop? Norris also follows in, so it was waiting on what Verstappen was going to do. And well, it'll be medium tyres. It's a 1 stop for the Red Bull pit crew. Norris the same. Medium tyres for both. And well, Verstappen gets out a bit further ahead. Hamilton in the box too. And well, I think that's West in the background too, so he's going to be pitting too. Is there a same stop here? A double stack for Ferrari. Don't mess this up, boys. Here we go, for West out of the pits. And that was close for an unsafe release, maybe for West on that Mercedes pit crew behind too. Well, will West come out ahead of the gaggle of cars? I don't think he will. Be tight, very, very tight between the two. I think he might just slot out in the middle. He's going to slot right in the middle of Esteban Ocon. So, West comes out in the points, and he will now have to try and fight his way back up through the field. And now, free wide! Oh! West almost hampering the battle here. And now it'll be up to 9th. Nico Hülkenberg next. What can he do on those medium tyres, sir? Well, looking forward, Oscar Piastri. 4 tenths behind Kimi Antonelli, and he's going to have to pit the slap. So Antonelli into the pits. It will be George Russell now down to 16th, and well, maybe the Mercedes bit off more than they could chew with this little hard tyre experiment, and as long as they can into the race. It worked for the front two, Verstappen and Norris, but Piastri is really on a charge. Mike Piastri. He's going to have to stop again. I think he's on the medium, so he will have to stop again. But well, what can he do on these tyres that might excite the race just a little bit more? Well, Sainz boxes again, down to 19th, and well, Alex Albon up to P4. He's really enjoying this race today. Alex Albon. Hard tyres, I think he's going to the end on this. I have a feeling he's going to the end. I think he's pitted twice, I'm not exactly sure. Can you see? No, not the graphic on here. Unfortunately not. Anyways. Lando Norris, 4 seconds behind Max Verstappen, and he has really been giving this a good go. Here today. If Piastri boxes again, of course he will be up to P3, and it will be a very good P3 for Alexander Albon. Of course, Sainz got the first podium for Williams in the Spanish Grand Prix a couple of races ago. His third place was a big one in helping Williams get some more championship points in there, or more feathers in the cap, as we might say, as they look on their championship battle alongside APX GP, and maybe even looking at Mercedes too, Aston Martin, Alpine in the midfield. You can be best of the rest. It's placed so many dividends down through the next season as well, into 2026. And you think you're really losing out on your aerodynamic time. You can test parts, keeping the field all even and fair. Now through the last second we go. What a little camera shot that was, and Albon does pit. Okay, he does pit from the lead of the fourth place in the race. Hamilton will go through, and I think West will too. Hulkenberg now up to P7. Nico Hulkenberg up to P7 in the Kick Sauber. How's Albon doing? Another set of hard tyres for Alex Albon. With 12 laps to go, that's an interesting choice of tyre. He's gone longer on the previous stint. And 12 laps each. And well, he'll slot out behind Isaac Hadjar. So 8th place for Albon. So there's going to be some big points potentially scored for Williams here today. And now West and Hamilton. Will be looking to fight once again. Potentially, if West can claw back that gap and maybe see Lewis Hamilton in his sights. But Hamilton's getting ever closer to Oscar Piastri too. 12 seconds of a gap, but Piastri's going to box now. So Hamilton will retake third place in the race. We'll see how Piastri's stop does and where he comes out. Verstappen and Norris still that gap at 4 seconds. So one little mistake could be costly for them, but another set of mediums for Oscar Piastri. West runs through. I have a funny feeling it might be just ahead of Nico Hulkenberg. Nope, just behind, sorry. So Hulkenberg then up to 5th in the race. I think he's got to stop again, but well, magical from the McLaren pit crew, and Oscar Piastri getting him out into 6th place is a big achievement in itself, and now he can go and hunt down the rest of the pack. But hard tyres for Nico Hulkenberg, and I think it is going to be, well, I have a funny feeling it might be another pit stop for Nico in a second. It was a magical run in the top 5 for Hulkenberg, but unfortunately it might not end this way today. Well, a lot of people criticise that Kick Sauber livery at the F1 75 launch event in London. I didn't think it looked too bad, but it It was certainly a downgrade on the last year's livery. And yep, Nico Hülkenberg pits from 5th place, and that will be just about that in terms of Hülkenberg's involvement today. And well, Hülkenberg now into the pits, and he'll be medium tyres, not soft for. I'm not sure how long Sainz did last on those softs, but he's up to 11th place at the minute. He's back on the hard tyre now. Well, moving out the field, and I mean Pearson, Antonelli, Russell and Hayes now rounding out for the top 10. Oh, well, here's a Mercedes sandwich for the APX GP cars. And well, Pierce ahead of Hayes once again this season. Hayes has had some magic moments though. He had that points in the Miami GP a couple of months ago, of course, and well, this season's just going to get even more exciting as we come through these European rounds. And Austria, Silverstone, Belgium, Hungary, the Dutch Grand Prix, and then Monza. Then we head out to Singapore, start the twilight of the season. Trip across to North America, of course, and then into the Arabia for the final few races of the season. Abu Dhabi and Qatar, of course. Las Vegas there too. Very excited to do Las Vegas. 100% race for you. Coming to you on Westie TV for that. Pierce, Antonelli, Russell and Hayes. 7th to 10th for the minutes, and Albon up in 6th. And this is brilliant racing from Alexander Albon this weekend. He's been absolutely sublime all weekend long. Tell you what, whatever Williams come out of this race with today, I'm sure they'll be extremely pleased. Well, the gap between Verstappen and Norris has come down to 3.5 seconds now. Is this going to be maybe a grandstand finish, or... You can see Verstappen ahead. He's having trouble in traffic. I think it's Jack Doohan ahead of him, or Pierre Gasly. Hamilton, though, 16 seconds behind. West, 6 seconds behind him. So Ferrari will probably have a car on the podium today, but which one remains a mystery. Well, 8 laps to go in the Austrian Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen leads the way. He's trying to work his way through some traffic now, and you can see in the background Stroll and Gasly going at it behind him, and him trying to use Verstappen to their advantage. I don't think that will play well with the Dutchman. Well, Lando Norris 4 seconds back and still having to work through the traffic too. And I think the front 5 are pretty much set in stone for the last 7 laps. But Pierce, Antonelli, Russell and Hayes will all be going into battle to try and fight for some championship points, and ones I think Mercedes really do need in their constructors fight. George Russell as well. Currently 7th and 8th with Kimi Antonelli. We're 4th in the constructors for Mercedes. They haven't really had the best of seasons, especially in the points. It's not been an excellent season. Antonelli's had a few no finishes too. I think he's had the most on the grid this year, to be fair, Kimi Antonelli. Australia was one of them, or Japan, Bahrain, Spain, I think too. He's not the best of season, Antonelli. He's been unfortunate, but all rookies are, of course, new to the sport and will take time. It will certainly take time. Verstappen working his way up through the field and giving it one last go to try and keep Lando Norris at bay, and I think he got stuck in the lap traffic, and Norris will not be happy about this at all. He's had a lost a bit of time to, I think that is Doohan and Lawson. So we will not be happy about that in maybe the podium room a bit later. Pierce is keeping Antonelli at bay. You can see him up there, and Sainz is also offered potential double points. And is that, well, what we're seeing here, unlapping himself, is Jack Doohan. Oh, this is not what Norris wants or needs. He needs clear air as much as he can get. Well, it's not good at all for... I'm feeling McLaren might be on the pit wall speaking to the Alpine team after this. Well then, it's going to be an interesting second part of the season. Verstappen, 5 laps to go then here at the Austrian Grand Prix. And here for another win in front of his near home crowd. And a Red Bull win on home soil would be excellent for Helmut Marko and Lola Mekic as well. Well, the amount of lap cars that are battling behind Verstappen and Norris is slightly worrying, I think, I think there will be some talk in the driver's briefing at Silverstone about that. Well, it's heavily raining in Silverstone and the UK at the minute, so we'll see how that fares out next week. Of course, there is more rain expected across the UK if you're back home, of course. And we will see how that plays out and how that pans out next week. And well, it could have all been today for West, but it wasn't to be. Verstappen will retake the championship lead, of course, going into Silverstone. Remember the last time a British driver was in second in the championship and behind a Dutchman? 2021. It would have been Lewis Hamilton against Max Verstappen. And we all know how that ended up at Copse Corner. But Hamilton will be going there vying for his 10th British Grand Prix victory. It could be an interesting one. Norris looking for his first, of course. Russell, of course, as well, maybe in the mix, a bit of home form. And Mercedes are very good around Silverstone. You remember from last year, they of course won the race. But Max Verstappen will be looking to extend his championship lead even further and picking up another British Grand Prix victory. Like 2022, like 2020, oh no, not 2022. That's Sainz. Yes, anyway. That's a stat I need to double check my knowledge on later. All I'll say is don't let me be your phone a friend on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But down the inside, Verstappen passing the lap cars on Esteban Ocon. And well, it's just looking all too easy, I think, now for Max Verstappen. 6.4 ahead, 3 laps to go. And well, Lewis Hamilton 18 seconds behind. So I think this is going to be the finishing order today, the top 10. Pearson and Hayes have held out very, very well. And I think this will be 7th and 10th for them, unless Sainz can whip up some magic in the last 3 laps. And what could have been for this man today? He's going to lose the championship lead going into his home race. A damaged car, but he's come brilliantly to come back all the way from last, all the way to 4th after a few laps. What might have been for West today. An unfortunate turn of events. Well, yeah, look at the driver's eye and his head turns just to... But then Oscar Piastri as well, he'll be... Well, not quite licking his lips, you might say, but he will lose out a bit more in the championship today. He needs some more wins, Oscar, as we go into the European season. You can't let Ferrari or Red Bull run away with it. He's McLaren's top dog in the championship at the moment, and well, he needs a few more points, I think, on the board. Maybe he wants to be challenging for this World Championship this year. Norris the exact same too, up in second. They'll make a big jump towards Oscar Piastri. And then Lewis Hamilton as well. The big five. There will be Hamilton's fourth podium of the season. His last was in Monaco a few races ago. He scored in Miami too, Saudi Arabia. 4 podiums for Lewis is pretty good going. Piastri is right on the back of West now, and this could be a bit of a grandstand finish. For the two of them. Will Oscar Piastri try and take West going into the final corner? Maybe he might. Oscar Piastri to the right hand side. Tries to pull into West's path and not quite enough. Almost there. And well, Piastri really putting West under pressure as we go across the line for the last lap. Piastri to the outside, trying to get through past the Ferrari. It's not trying to be. Well, we will. Oh, West did go wide. He went wide, and Piastri's up to 4th. Even more disaster for West. And well, that's not good at all. And well, West trying to on the brakes as late as you can get. Well, I think there's been a DNF between Stroll and Hayes. They're out as well. Oh, awful shame for the two of them. I think there's just been a couple of mechanical failures. But Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix. So far ahead, we didn't even see him on the track. Norris comes home in second. But no, Max Verstappen, home win for Red Bull. Max is back on the top step of the podium for the first time since Miami. And he takes back the championship lead. Norris in second, a great result for him. But Lewis Hamilton comes across for his 4th podium of the season. Piastri behind gets 4th. West do a mistake on the last lap's 5th. But what a race for Max Verstappen and Red Bull. It's another win then for Max Verstappen, and this time on the team's home soil in Austria. The Red Bull Ring once again sees Max Verstappen on the top step. Norris in second, then Hamilton in third. Another podium for Lewis, and Norris back in the championship hunt with this podium. Well, looking down the order, it's a point for Nico Hülkenberg. Important points for Joshua Pearce in APX GP's mid-table battle with Albon and the Williams. But West down in 5th after that earlier incident, and not a good day at all for him. The two Mercedes in the top 10 as well, and well, not a bad day at all for Nico Hülkenberg, getting some key points in the Kick Sauber. In the driver's standings then, Verstappen top 191, pulling out ahead of West. Piastri in 3rd, Norris back in the championship fight with Hamilton in 5th. But it could all change when we next go to Silverstone.